Hi everyone, it's Kai with SeriousWatches, and today I want to be talking about Orient's SAR super anti-reflective coatings. They introduced them a few years ago on the Orient Standard Date series, which the reference number, which I know Connor will appreciate for me memorizing them, is the DV02001W, the 2B, and the 3W. Anyway, these models are long gone, they're sold out, but that was the first series by Orient to feature these coatings. And in recent times, they've brought them back in. We've been getting some inquiries about them, and I mean, it made a lot of sense to make a video because we want to show you the difference. And actually, one thing is that when you work in the watch industry and you see watches all the time, and this was one of those bits of watches where everyone at the office really enjoyed seeing them. They really enjoyed what the coating actually does. So I hope that you'll enjoy it as well. Now, what is this coating? Basically, what happens when you have a sapphire crystal in a watch is that the glass reflects lights to a certain degree, which can be quite bad for the legibility. You can't always see what time it is, or it will reflect the skylight or whatever sort of light is in your vicinity. So watch manufacturers came up with some sort of coating, an AR, anti-reflective coating, that they put on a lot of the modern day watches. Most sapphire crystals come with such a coating. They're good. I mean, most watches have them, and it's alright. But it's not perfect. You will still see reflections occasionally, and with certain dials or certain glass shapes, it will be, well, I wouldn't say bad, but it's not perfect. Now, what Orient has done, and this is a technique that is proprietary to Orient, and I know there's several other brands that have similar things, but I have to say I'm most impressed with the ones that Orient now have introduced. What they actually do is a second layer of anti-reflective coating. Normally, a watch manufacturer puts this on the bottom or the dial side of the watch. The reason being, it won't be exposed to elements, so it's safe, and the coating doesn't actually need to be strong because it won't be exposed to anything because it's below the glass on the dial side. When you put a coating on the top side, that can help again reduce the reflections, but that particular coating will be exposed to the elements. So what you've seen with some brands who've done it is that the coating becomes damaged and the watch will look horrible after a while, or you will need to replace the glass, and it can be inconvenient. Now, Orient has created this coating which reduces the reflections by up to 99%, and B, combine that in a way that make sure that it's not damaged very easily. I noticed that on some watch forums, people were like, oh yeah, it's an outer layer, outside coating, and it will get damaged, etc. Now, I've gone through all of our servicing, and we've sold over 100 of these Orient Standard Date models that I've just mentioned, and we had zero complaints about any sort of glass problems. And that includes warranty cases that from watches that haven't even been bought built. So we've processed well over 100 of these models and had not a single complaint. So I saw someone on the watch forum saying that, oh, it will be damaged in a week now. Not from our experience, and that's why we recommend them, because I know that if it does get damaged after a week, you'll email us being very angry with us, and quite rightfully so. Now, if you're in the special forces and you're about to go inside a forest or a desert or whatever, and you're going to be under gunfire, then no, I would not recommend it. But for anyone like me with a normal office job, I mean, the wildest thing I do is go to the supermarket, especially now with Corona. Yeah, that can be very dangerous indeed. No, it's you're gonna be fine. We've been selling these for we've sold these coatings, and our experiences with them have been pretty darn good. So what I want to do is actually show you the difference, because me telling you that it's amazing, blah blah blah, any salesman would do so. So what I'm just want to show you the difference. So I've come up with some watches with similar dials, so you can just see the difference. So I'll just show you. This is a normal Orient Star model. And this is a pretty similar model, but with the SAR coating. Now you can see it will still reflect a little bit, but it's much better than a normal AR coating. And now I did choose 2 Orient watches or an Orient watch to compare it with, but this is similar to any other brand that you that uses an AR coating on a sapphire crystal. And to go along with it, I've also got a black dial to compare. I'll first do the normal one. Sapphire crystal with an AR coating. You can see some of our lights in the back. And this is the one with the SAR coating. Now, it's almost as though, especially when you're handling it, it's almost as though there's no glass in there, which is a very cool effect. And that's actually, everyone that's been in our office will be like, wow, that's really cool. And it just makes the legibility of the watch much better than a normal crystal.
Okay, yeah. Kai, just to add to everything you've just said, a couple of questions. Do you know, will the coating have an effect on the colour of the dial or the glass itself?
That's a good question. Because when you have a anti-reflective coating, some of them will have like a blue hue to it, which you can probably associate with when you see a watch and you tilt it a little bit, you can see a bit of blue or sometimes even green. That's a choice of the manufacturer because in this day and age you don't really need to give. Back when they were introduced, they tended to be blue.
Is that a choice of the manufacturer? What I thought that was
just very cool.
No, I thought that was well, the sapphire part,
No.
picking up on, because sapphire is blue, right? So,
No, the glass itself is just clear. So it's the coating that's on the glass that gave it the blue hue,
okay,
not the glass itself. Again, I'm not a complete expert on this, but from what I've understood from our brands that we work with, is that there's no real good reason to use blue coating anymore, but people think it looks nice. If I'm wrong, please do leave a comment and tell me, Kai, you're wrong. But as far as I'm aware, there's no particular reason to use that blue hue. And Orient with the SAR coatings, it's completely transparent, and that's as you could see, it's almost as though there's no glass in there. So long story short, an AR coating can affect the color in as much that it can have a blue hue, and that will show off on the dial. With certain colors it will be more apparent, but Orient's SAR coating will not have that effect.
Okay, and another thing, you've talked quite fondly of them, but is there anything that would actually, put you off of buying a watch which had the super anti-reflective coating?
At the moment, not really. I'm genuinely very impressed with this, and I wish more brands would use it. In fact, I'm thinking about buying this black one, but I shouldn't. I think it's that cool. The only downside I think I mentioned, and I know, Connor, you may be a special agent outside of office hours, but you and I both tend to not have a very active life, being exposed to a lot of situations where glass would get damaged. So I would say that for me, for most normal people, there would be no disadvantages aside from the cost. Of course, it is a cost factor. It's more expensive than normal AR coating, so that will be the only thing I would say is true downside, would be that there's something on the outside of the glass and it may get damaged if you seriously expose it to wear and tear. So I do hope that this video helped you a little bit seeing, the actual difference when you have two watches side by side, because that's always easier than seeing just a watch with an SAR coating individually. If you have any questions, please do leave them below. Give us a like or give us any questions. We're always happy to talk to you, and take care.